Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, we have a really amazing UFO video shared by Ross Coulthard in an interview with a researcher talking about UFOs in Greenland on News Nation. Some great footage here of that UFO. Here's what the researcher had to say.
As you saw, that really is quite something, Martin. Tell me what you were feeling as you saw that.
I was shocked. I think I was shocked. We also saw a light up there. This is not that light, but we saw a light up there that came up that was completely red and it just disappeared. And I remember, I think it's very human to think, what is it that I'm seeing? And I remember when we got back home, the three of us, we went up, three guys up there, and we were like, what is this? And my dreams were like recurring about this every night while we were being up there, because it is, even though I'm into the subject and I'm interested in it, I know there's something to this subject, it was just a different thing to witness it. It was quite shocking in many ways, actually. It really turned my world upside down in many ways, I must admit that.
Yeah, some great stuff in that interview. Can't wait to find out more about the UFOs in Greenland. I hope that somebody remote views it, or somebody that's been able to have some sort of psychic or consciousness linked to these things can tell us who they are and what they're doing. Is there a base up there? What's the deal about these UFOs in Greenland? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Meanwhile, we've got I don't want to say exciting, but it's exciting to see mainstream science or mainstream media get involved in UFOs and take UFOs seriously. So ABC did a big article and a big news piece program about UFOs. And that itself is pretty exciting. I'm taking UFOs seriously and doing a whole program about it. Unfortunately, they centered the piece around John Kosowski, the lovely Dr. John Kosowski, the new director of Arrow, who has previously gone on to, debunk the gimbal and the go fast, right? Real, genuine, anomalous events. And whistleblowers have repeatedly expressed frustration with going to Arrow, and it doesn't seem to have changed with him in power. They didn't suddenly get more transparent. Well, I mean, I guess they have released a few UFO videos, and they go through the latest one in this piece. But, come on, you can't release a new UFO video while in the same breath debunking gimbal and go fast and expect us to take you seriously. I would love it if we lived in a world where we had a competent and trustworthy government UFO program, right? But we don't. Anyway, but Kozlowski did have some stuff to say that wasn't half bad.
And focus our attention on those really anomalous cases.
How many ballpark are in that category right now?
It's several dozen, but it's a couple percent of the overall.
Okay, so he does admit there are genuine anomalous cases. He doesn't know what to make of the Tic Tac, for example, so that's kind of encouraging. Now, he does downplay it, saying there's only a couple percent that are genuinely anomalous. Of course, he's, including in the 98% gimbal and go fast, I guess. I would take that percentage with a huge grain of salt. But at least he does say there's anomalous stuff, and he doesn't dismiss the Tic Tac, which is good for him. And I guess he can't, because there's so much corroborating evidence and compelling witnesses to that event. It's going to be really hard for them to debunk that. So it is what it is. Let's see. He also had this to say, which is somewhat encouraging.
It's a potential problem, a national security problem, safety of flight issue.
Potential non-human intelligence.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Okay, so he'll give us a perhaps with NHI. The sole reason that Arrow exists. Perhaps they have a reason to exist. Perhaps they have a reason to exist, guys. I don't know. And of course they showed the new Arrow video, which I've shown before, where you see this object going through the sky. And, again, this could be totally legit. This could be a legitimately anomalous object. It's such a shame that we don't trust Arrow. How can we trust Arrow? We can't trust Arrow. So how can we trust them when they release real footage of UFOs? Which could be their plan. That could be by design, right? Lie with one side of your mouth, tell the truth with another, and just spread confusion while at the same time getting some real stuff out there, but doing it under a cloud of uncertainty. So I think that may be the game. But either way, it's a compelling footage, whatever it is. It doesn't look to me like a balloon. A lot of people are saying this is a balloon. I think this might be legit, but it's Arrow, so take it with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, that's where we are. At least that's my take. Now, Cab, who is an experiencer with a lot of followers, 176,000 followers, has this to say about that object. This craft is from the Andromeda Galaxy. Most of the crafts seen from Andromeda are observed to be shapes and sizes that are familiar to those on Earth. This beautiful Elohim race also enjoys expressions of vibrant colors and many shapes. This particular craft has a clear dome that can be seen partially by close observation. This craft will pulse with colors as speed is changed. It can be almost oval in shape and then quickly flash and become something entirely different. This magnificent craft is occupied by 9 that clearly enjoy being seen. Okay, well, you can be seeing more, guys. Get out of the craft, right? Come and have some coffee, right? I've always got coffee brewing, folks. I've always got coffee brewing. So interesting information from Keb. So let me know what you think about that. That these could be piloted by Andromedans, at least this particular craft. Either way, I'm glad that ABC is covering UFOs. I wish they wouldn't spend so much time with Kosowski, the lovely Dr. John Kosowski. But at least they are talking about UFOs, which I think is an overall positive indicator of where things are going with the mainstream. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know what your take is in the comments below. Meanwhile, this guy went 411 days without food. That's right, and this was a case studied by NASA. Really intriguing case. His name is Ratan Manek, an Indian man and born in 1937, claimed to have fasted for 411 days in 1995, consuming only boiled water during solar hours. Manek was monitored by doctors during this period in India. He was locked in a room, supposedly, monitored 24/7 with no contact with the outside world, and underwent body scans, blood tests, and retinal exams. The results allegedly showed that he remained alive, energetic, and healthy through the 411 days. A 2002 study by NASA and the University of Pennsylvania reportedly found heightened pineal gland activity, elevated melatonin and serotonin levels, and signs of neuroplasticity, suggesting his body may have adapted to use solar energy. Because, that was his thing. He believed in sun worship, or I don't know if worship's quite the right word, but gazing at the sun during sunset and sundown, and it activating your pineal gland and, causing these changes where you could live on sunlight that you wouldn't need to eat. That was his whole deal. He wasn't in it for money. He didn't form a cult. And he seems like a genuinely sincere person, having dug into it a little bit. Maybe some of you guys will have dug into it more and will have some more insights. But he's not a fraudster. He doesn't have a history of fraud or criminal activity. He seems like a genuine person, and this fasting that he did for over 400 days was studied by doctors and scientists at the time. We don't know what happened to that NASA study. I don't know how NASA got involved in studying this guy living on sunlight, but apparently they did, and we don't know the results of that study. I kind of imagine they probably got into it to debunk him, honestly. And if they didn't reveal the results of their study, that probably means they couldn't debunk him. So I think the fact that we don't have a NASA study available on this guy is probably a positive sign that maybe he actually did it. Did this guy actually live on sunlight for over 400 days? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, he was drinking boiled water. He had some hydration, so I guess the sun can provide food, but it can't provide water. I don't know how this stuff works, guys. But the image that we're seeing right now, that's Akhenaten, the pharaoh that worshipped the sun, which was very heretical back in Egyptian times, and that's why we have his son's tomb, King Tut, intact. Is because it was hidden away by the Egyptians after they both passed, and everybody tried to forget that there was this crazy pharaoh and his son out there worshiping the sun instead of worshiping the traditional Egyptian gods. But yeah, there's a long history of sun worship. Is there something to that? A lot of people think that Akhenaten and King Tut and their family may have been in touch with beings. Did the beings guide them into this sun worship? Does this have anything to do with the evidence of beings coming and going from the sun as if it were a portal of some sort? Who knows, guys? Who knows? But I love it. I would love to know if this story were legit about this gentleman here who, may have hacked human consciousness or at least the body. They may have found a way to get in touch with the sun or the presences behind the sun or the energies in a way that actually altered his body and allowed him to go without food for over a year. I don't know, guys. I would love for this story to be real. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, we have a little girl that remembers her past lives. A lot of children are able to recall things that adults, that we forget as adults. Children seemingly can recall past lives. There's many examples of this in ways that adults can't. It fades over time. Once you hit the teens, or even before, it all starts to fade. But she is talking about past lives. She's got some interesting things to say. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt, but I thought this was interesting.
I had different lives in my whole entire. I'm not with you.
Yeah.
You were with. I was not with anyone. I had different lives. Before I came here, I was in different worlds.
Oh, what did their worlds look like? Do you remember?
No, because no one remembers what those worlds are because they're back before we're born.
Oh, okay.
So before we're born, we had to go somewhere else.
Oh.
And then, when we're done with those lives, we come here.
Okay.
These lives. So everybody did that.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And they're kids, babies.
And what did your lives look like back then? Do you remember anything?
It was trees.
Yeah.
Guess what? No buildings like these. No food yet. We only had to eat stuff from trees.
Okay.
So it was no electronics, no anything here. Except we had beaches.
Yeah.
We had fruit
Yeah.
to eat. Well, we didn't have beds to sleep on, so we just grabbed big leaves
Yeah.
and then we slept on them.
Yeah. Do you remember what your body looked like, or did you have a body then?
I did have a body.
What was it? Any color?
Yeah, my hair was different color. It was like rainbow,
Yeah.
I remember. And my face, like my skin was black.
Okay. Yeah.
I wear a dress, but it was out of leaves,
Okay.
all sorts of different leaves.
Okay, sounds like a nice existence, living on the beach, eating fruit from trees, wearing grass skirts. I don't know. But, obviously take this with a grain of salt. Maybe she has parents that are really into past lives and she's been exposed to this and her imagination is creating stuff. Totally possible. also totally possible that she is indeed remembering a past life. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, Disclosure Party is saying that the drones seen at Lakenheath Royal Air Force Base are now being classified as objects. The shift from drone to object confirms authorities could not identify the craft and indicates that it may have exhibited behavior beyond known drone capabilities and meets the criteria of a true UAP. From the police report here, when the helicopter was interacting with or gaining information on the mystery drones. According to Flight Radar 24 historic data, the NPAS helicopter flew to Lakenheath that evening before turning on to a reciprocal heading towards Newmarket at 21:37 hours. It then engaged in a number of sudden increases and decreases in altitude and fluctuating airspeeds for a number of minutes over Newmarket. Why did the pilot undertake such actions? That's the question. Answer: the helicopter was searching and tracking for reported drone activity, therefore had to maneuver in order to search and track and avoid moving objects as they were identified accordingly. So it was searching and tracking for mystery drones and trying to avoid them in the air. Very interesting. But the point of this post is that they're using the word objects here. It says they're searching for drones, but they're avoiding moving objects. It doesn't say they're avoiding moving drones. Very interesting. I'm not sure if that's like a definitive, clue that they're saying this is a UFO and not a drone. But to continue, why is it necessary to fly the aircraft to its limitations that evening over a heavily populated town? At one point in the task, the crew believed there was credible potential that safe separation between the helicopter and the object being tracked was compromised. Therefore, the helicopter left the area at speed to ensure safe separation was gained as quickly as possible within normal aircraft limitations. So it's using the word object here. It says originally it was tracking for reported drone activity, but whenever it's talking about what it actually saw and encountered, it uses the word object. It doesn't say it found a drone. It says it found an object. It was avoiding and tracking an object, and even altering its course because of that. This is really interesting. I'm not convinced that their use of the word object here is like a silver bullet, into their reasoning or their, conclusions about what they were seeing. But yeah, and the mystery drones were UFOs. They were anomalous. We don't know what the hell they are. They're shutting down airports all over the world. They're shutting down military installations. Helicopters are having to maneuver around them. They may have hit one or multiple planes. It's a thing. We don't know what they are, and it's possible they are creating unsafe air conditions, and that is one more reason why the public needs to be informed of the truth of the mystery drones. I don't know if we're getting any closer to that, but at least the hunt is still ongoing, and we need to keep the pressure on these guys to ultimately tell us the truth. Meanwhile, in 2023, a patent was filed for a technology that uses zero-point energy. Abstract. Numerous patents have been granted for methods to extract useful zero-point energy. However, these methods utilize the Casimir force, which is orders of magnitude too small to power an electrical grid. The method and apparatus described here uses counter-rotating mercury-based plasmas pulsed with a high-frequency, high-voltage discharge to create a coherence with the zero-point energy field, allowing for unlimited extraction of ZPE, zero-point energy, which may ultimately replace polluting fossil fuel-derived energy. Mainstream physics models gravity as a curvature of space, but there are profound problems with this model. An alternative model of gravity advanced by some physicists models gravity and inertia as an induced effect resulting from the interaction of zero-point energy with subatomic charge. by creating a coherence with the zero-point energy field. This method causes an interference with this interaction, allowing gravity and inertia to be engineered or nullified, representing a breakthrough in propulsion. They're going to nullify gravity with this device. So yeah, another in a list of really intriguing patents that have been filed of really incredible technology. Do you think they have found a way to crack zero-point energy? We know that Hal Puthoff and others have been working on this for a long time. Who knows what actual progress they have made behind the scenes, maybe helped along by a little UFO reverse engineering or gifts from the beings themselves. But yeah, let me know what you think about this interesting patent, about this new way of harnessing zero-point energy, apparently for use in propulsion, which sounds like this is UFO technology. Oh, and I have to share this video every so often. This is one of my favorite UFO videos where you see these UFOs just kind of swimming around in the sky. I just love this. It was like playful, it's organic. They don't seem like structured craft, although maybe they are. Maybe they're beings. Maybe they're projections from some other dimension. Maybe they're ghosts. I don't know. But it's an amazing video of something really anomalous going on. Some people want to say those are birds. I do not believe those are birds. This was captured, accidentally by a news station. And I think this is just amazing footage of something really interesting going on here. Let me know what you think that was in the comments below. Last but not least, we're never going to know if a video is real from now on. My God.
Meet Wilbur. He's been helping me clear the underbrush all season. Today's his last landscaping job.
All right, ribs are looking thick today.
Wilbur lived full and flavored. Rest in peace.
Okay, now that we got the ribs going on, just hitting them with some wild herb blend. If it smells edible, it's seasoning.
Low and slow, that's the secret. Breaks down the collagen so it's fall off the bone tender.
Takes time, but hey, I've got a few hundred years. Found this BBQ sauce back at that abandoned...
All right, guys, we have Bigfoot has his own cooking show. Yeah, that's where we are now, guys. Let me know what you think in this about this amazing Bigfoot and his family eating their pet pig. And everything else covered today in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.